Truth Unveiled here, and today I'm going to be beginning a series called Scriptures Often Ignored because I think it's time we start understanding the true Hebrew Bible and who the true Israelites are. Now, in this segment, I'm going to be talking about Deuteronomy 28. And like I said, I'm going to make other videos that feature other scriptures as well so that we are aware of where we are today and who the true biblical Israelites are, because there still seems to be some confusion with some people, and people still choose to be ignorant. So, hopefully this will shed some light. Now, I'm not going to read all of Deuteronomy 28, but I will summarize. So this has to do with the children of Israel in the wilderness, of course, and this was when they were coming out and into the promised land. And this is Moshe, or who you call Moses. He was talking to the children of Israel and telling them about the blessings and cursings that would come upon them if they hearken to the voice of Yahuwah, or if they chose to sin and turn away from the Most High. So the first 15 verses or so talk about, or the first 14 verses, Salakia, talk about the blessings that will come upon the people of Yisrael. However, from verse 15 on down, it talks about all the curses that will come upon the children of Yisrael. And like I said, I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to leave a link here, and I'm reading out of the King James Version, so you can read it on your own. And many people have heard of this chapter and know about it, but they don't know who it's talking about or what type of people it's talking about. So I want to get some clarification here. So let's read verse 48 for a second and see what it says. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies which Yahuwah shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Does that sound familiar? Okay, let's go all the way down to, let's start at verse 59. Then Yahuwah will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will Yahuwah bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And then they'll be left few in number. Now, this is the important part, verses 64 through 68. Now pay attention to this and see who is this referring to today. And Yahuwah shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahuwah shall give thee a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, Would Yah it were even. And at even thou shalt say, Would Yah it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. Now listen to this, verse 68. And Yahuwah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, why do I bring this up? Why is this chapter so important? Because it shows you who the true biblical Israelites are. Now, I also want to bring to your attention that when it says bring them into Egypt again with ships, that only happened to one of the tribes of Yisrael, and that is the tribe of Yahudah, because of Yahudah's sins. So therefore, those who were brought into Egypt again with ships, that only applies to the tribe of Yahudah. Now, let's think. It says, He shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. How did that happen? Oh, that's right, slavery. So who is this talking about? It's talking about so-called black people in the Americas. so-called African Americans, so-called Haitians, so-called Jamaicans, so-called black Uruguayans, everyone who's black and who was shipped here to the Americas, both North and South, if they are black, then chances are they are an Israelite. Because we have to remember that the black Moors and the black Native Americans, who are in fact Hamites, were here before the slave trade even begun. However, this is specifically talking about them, and it's also talking about, when it says scattering, it's also talking about the certain African tribes who are children of Israel, who were scattered long, long ago. For example, you have the Limba tribe, the Igbo, the Ashanti, and many more, who still observe the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahuwah. So as you can see, this foreshadows a slave trade, it foreshadows slavery, and notice how in verse 68 it says, and Yahuwah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Who is modern day Sodom and Egypt? Spiritually speaking, America, the United Slaves of America. So that lets us know who the true biblical Israelites are. And it lets us know who the true biblical Israelites are not. Because it also says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. That's obviously talking about slavery. But it says, and no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall save you. What is that talking about? That means the so-called Israel today, the fraudulent 1948 nation of Israel, that the world and that the UN recognizes, but they don't recognize the true Israel. That is what that's talking about. Because see, I'm going to do a segment on this too. When you read Revelation chapter 2 verses 9 and Revelation chapter 3 verses 9, it shows you clearly who is lying and who is not. So I thought I'd bring this to your attention because people really need to start seeing this stuff for themselves. People need to wake up and get out of the lies. People need to stop believing the Jewish Zionist agenda of world control and world domination, because as this proves right here, they are not the true Jews, but they do lie. And they are the synagogue of Satan. You can read about that in Revelation 2 verses 9, Revelation 3 verses 9. I'm going to do a video on that as well. Because people, especially if you're so-called African American, this is for you. And for all of my Hebrew Israelite friends out there, you all need to understand, you all have more power than you think you do. All of our history and culture has been stripped away from us. They have told us that we are African when we are not. We are actually Hebrew. And that is our custom and culture. And I'm telling you, in the last days, you have more power than you think you do. So for all of you out there, I hope this helps you really seek Yahuwah, seek the Most High, seek His law, statutes, and commandments, seek His word, and seek His Son Yahusha, because only through Yahusha can you be saved and grafted back into Yisrael. So I'm going to leave a link for this. Again, this is just the King James Version of Deuteronomy 28 on Bible Gateway. But really study this and you'll see how this applies to you, so-called African American, to you, so-called black person, to you, so-called brother and sister, because you are a Hebrew Israelite. In the Bible and the scriptures, they are about you, your culture, your people, and your ancestry that the world has conveniently tried to hide away from you. But I hope this has awakened you, and I hope this has brought truth to you. This is Truth Unveiled here. Shalom.